Hey everyone, welcome back. So a pretty fascinating intelligence report just came out of the Netherlands, and it's got a lot of people talking. It suggests that Russia's military, well, it hasn't just survived the sanctions and the war, it's actually gotten bigger and better. They've ramped up production and learned a ton from their combat experience, making them more effective now than they were before the invasion. We're going to unpack what all of that means. And hey, if this is the kind of analysis you're here for, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button.
All right, let's just jump right into the single most startling line from this report by the Dutch Military Intelligence, the MIVD. They're saying the Russian army is, quote, not only larger, but also more effective than before the war in Ukraine. I mean, wow. Think about that for a second. It just flies in the face of what a lot of people expected. So you got to ask, how on earth did that happen?
Right, that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you pull off a transformation like that while you're in the middle of a massive grinding war? Ben, I know the report gets into the specifics, starting with how they actually got better on the battlefield.
That's it, exactly, Alex. And the first piece of the puzzle is simple: brutal experience. The report paints this really stark picture. The army that went into Ukraine in 2022 was basically running on theory and doctrine. The one fighting today, it's been forged in the fire. The MIVD says they've shown a really high capacity to adapt, learning some very tough lessons directly on the front lines.
And you can see some of those specific adaptations right here. The report makes a point of saying how good they've gotten at taking a lesson learned one week and turning it into standard procedure the next. And look at that last point, the unmanned domain. That's huge. It's basically code for drones and other unmanned tech. It's a massive part of this war, and the report is clear. Russia is getting way, way better at it.
Okay, so that explains the better part. They're learning on the job. But the report also said they got bigger, and that just doesn't seem to add up, right? I mean, what about all those massive international sanctions that were supposed to cripple their war economy?
You're right, it seems like a contradiction. And that's really the second huge takeaway from this report. Dutch intelligence found that Russia's defense industry has been, well, incredibly resilient. Even with all the restrictions on parts and materials, they've somehow managed to keep production stable, both in terms of how much they're making and how good it is. It's really defied a lot of expectations in the West.
And this isn't just theory. It translates into some pretty concrete numbers. The report points to three big areas where they've grown. First, more people, through recruiting and mobilization. Second, they're cranking out more heavy weapons. And third, they're building up massive stockpiles of ammunition. Put it all together, and the picture is pretty clear. They are digging in for the long haul.
But, and this is a huge but in the report, this growth isn't happening in a vacuum. The MIVD is very clear on this point. The staggering losses Russia is taking in Ukraine, both in people and equipment, are a massive drain. It's almost like they're trying to fill a bucket with a giant hole in it. As long as this war is raging, all that planned growth is being chewed up and delayed.
And that's a perfect point, Alex, because that delay is absolutely central to how the report looks at the future threat to NATO. It's not just about what Russia's military looks like today, it's about what it could look like once the fighting in Ukraine stops.
Which, of course, brings us to the big one, the question everyone wants an answer to. Could Russia and NATO actually end up in a direct war? And the Dutch report, it doesn't shy away from it. Their answer is basically, yes, but with some very big ifs. Yeah, it's very conditional. The MIVD is pretty clear that a conventional war is almost impossible as long as Russia is tied down in Ukraine. But they lay out this potential future timeline. Step 1, the war in Ukraine has to end. Step 2, things have to shift in Russia's favor. If both of those things happen, the report estimates Russia could rebuild enough combat power to threaten a NATO country in as little as 1 year.
So what would they even be trying to achieve in a conflict like that? The report suggests it wouldn't be about conquering Europe or anything like that. The goal would be more political, to break NATO's unity, maybe by making a limited land grab and then using the threat of their nuclear arsenal to scare everyone else from getting involved. It's about fracturing the alliance, not defeating it in a total war.
So here's the kicker. While a big conventional attack might be on hold because of Ukraine, the report makes it crystal clear that Russia's already fighting a different kind of war against NATO countries. They're using what we call hybrid warfare, all those actions that sit just below the line of an open shooting war, things designed to create chaos, spread fear, and mess with our decision-making.
Exactly.
And all of that, the buildup, the drain from Ukraine, the hybrid stuff, it all feeds into the report's final conclusion about where we stand right now. And the words they use are highly unpredictable and unstable balance. Basically, we're walking a tightrope.
And the report points to a few things that are making the situation so shaky. For one, with all this hybrid activity and military posturing, there's a real danger that something could happen by accident and spiral out of control, an unintended escalation. And another thing they flag is the, let's say, unpredictable nature of U.S. security policy. That uncertainty plays into Russia's calculations about what it can and can't get away with.
So if you're going to boil this entire intelligence report down to one single thought, it's this. Russia is absolutely building a bigger, smarter, battle-tested military. That future threat is very real. But, and it's the biggest but imaginable, the war in Ukraine is acting as both its training ground and its graveyard. It's teaching Russia how to fight while also bleeding it dry. And that, for now, is buying time for NATO.
And that really leaves us with the final hanging question from this whole report, doesn't it? It pushes us to look past the day-to-day headlines from Ukraine. As Russia's military keeps adapting, learning from the biggest war in Europe in decades, what does that mean for the future of security on the entire continent? What comes next?
That is definitely a question worth thinking about. Well, that's all the time we have for this explainer. Thank you so much for joining us. If you got something out of this breakdown, we'd really appreciate it if you could hit the like and share buttons. And of course, subscribe to the Global WarWatch Network.
And we really do want to hear what you think. What's your take on these findings? Let us know down in the comments. And for more discussion, come find us on social media. All the links for that are waiting for you in the description below. Thanks again for watching.